Today, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind lately. Do I just suck at trading or am I sabotaging myself? But before we get into it, let's check out the trade I took on the NASDAQ this morning. And in case you've missed it so far, I do have, well, now 5 free resources, all dealing with discipline, and then one specific dealing with what we're talking about today, which is self sabotage in day trading. The link is below. They're all free. All right, let's get into the trade. All right, let's check out this trade that I'm about to get into this morning here. Okay, so it's not my regular A long setup. I did go long there. The reasoning behind this was, I don't know, the MA was up at least 30 points. It looked like a good reversal. I had those all-time highs in my head as a good potential target. Definitely, I thought the high of the opening 1 minute range here was a good target, and I probably should have stuck with that idea. Yeah, and I like that little consolidation just right up back into the opening range, and I liked the signal candle there where I went long to break that consolidation. So this trade got a little bit. I wasn't watching again. I have to get my son ready for nursery school in the morning, so it really is helpful to just put the trade on and leave and get on with that. Okay, so if I had been watching, I might have wanted to TP there because it came within 1 point, maybe even a little less than 1 point of my target. And my target was 1.5 to 1. Risk first, I was risking, I think I wrote down $80 on this trade. So not risking a lot, still on 2 micros. And I got stopped out. I ended up losing $74 on that one, and it was really annoying. So I wanted to know what's the difference between just having some bad trading habits and self sabotage. So I asked AI and it told me this: a bad habit is unintentional. Self sabotage is when you catch yourself repeating the same destructive behavior even though you know better. So that kind of made me stop and think that I've done a lot of self sabotage and not just in my trading. Since we're here for day trading, I wanted to figure out what self sabotage looks like specifically in trading. Um, so, a lot of this might be familiar to you. It definitely was to me. So, we've got revenge trades, breaking rules, bailing early on your winners, blowing accounts right after making some progress, oversizing after losses. That's been a bad one for me in the past for sure. Chasing back to back trades, another one that I've been very much guilty of. Um, I think the scary part is that definitely with the trading and other things in life that I knew better. I knew that I should be doing something different, but I did it anyway. And that's why I'm starting to think that it's sabotage and not just mistakes. I should also mention that I have had a few people in the comments mention self sabotage to me and that I should look into it. So that also got me more interested in the topic. I guess my hesitancy in even looking at this topic is, why would I do that? Why would I be sabotaging myself? I want to succeed in trading. I've been working so hard at this. Why would I be doing these things to prevent myself from becoming a profitable trader? So, I guess this is where things get a bit deeper. Sometimes we sabotage ourselves because success would force us to face a big change in our lives or change the way we see or perceive ourselves in the world. I know. I did some work on this for myself preparing for this video. And I did then make a worksheet going through everything in the video because I actually had to like sit down and think about these things and write them out. And I thought it might help some of you as well if you're wondering if maybe you're self sabotaging. So for me, um, if I succeed in my day trading, then we're going to move away from Canada. And that's been the plan from the very beginning. We have our reasons for wanting to leave, but I love our house. We have this little 50s bungalow, and we've redone everything in the house entirely ourselves to where everything is just how we want it. We love our yard. We have these big, beautiful trees. We love our neighbors. We have really nice neighbors. And, I enjoy, when I'm working out in the yard, seeing one of the neighbors in their yards and we chat across the fence for a while. Like, I like that. And I definitely will miss it. We hate winter, but we have a hot tub out in the backyard. And I love using the hot tub in the winter when it's extremely cold out. And we're looking at moving to places where it's never going to get to be like, you know, 25 below. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit for Americans. Maybe I'll put it on the screen after. Um, so there are a lot of things that I would really miss about living here. And maybe that's why I'm continuing to do some of these things that I know hurt my progress and hurt my trading and stop me from becoming successful. Um, I feel safe and comfortable in Canada. I've been here my entire life. I've never left the country. Um, and yeah, so it's just like moving while we want to do it, and it's extremely exciting. And I know there's amazing, beautiful places out there, and we want to go see them and live in them. But it still is a new culture and new language, and a bunch of unknowns. So it's scary. So even though I really want to succeed trading, maybe these past 3 years, part of me has been scared of what that would actually look like to succeed in my trading. And I'm sure there's other issues, but these are just the ones that I was able to come up with right away when I sort of looked at the questions on my sheet. I had a therapist for a few years before after my dad died, and she loved to talk and sometimes make little notes while we were talking. And at the end of our sessions, I would always be like, yeah, but what can I do about this? Like, can you give me some homework? How can I actually work on this thing to, get over something or to better myself in this area? So she would give me like little things to do. So that's where this is coming from, me being like, maybe there's other people like me that are like, okay, but what can I actually do if I am self sabotaging to stop the behavior? So the first thing, I did some research, and then AI helped me out with this, was to have awareness, to notice the patterns. So really notice, and we've already been working on this in the discipline stuff anyways. So you probably already have a pretty good idea if there's these same mistakes that you've been making over and over again, that maybe you might want to look into self-sabotage on that. So, and then the other part, like what I've started working on, is the introspection of what does it actually mean if I succeed in trading? What will my life look like? What am I going to gain? But also, what am I risking losing? For me, it's leaving my home and my yard and all the comforts here behind, which, like I said, I want, but also it's scary. Then the third thing is to reframe it. So instead of thinking success means losing something, I need to try to remind myself that, I can find comfort and safety and new friends and all these things that I would miss about Canada in another country, and that it might be even better there. And then the fourth thing is to have some practical tools. So journaling, I find with anything, especially like any kind of introspective stuff, that it helps me to just like actually take pen to paper and quietly just write out what I'm thinking or feeling and not worry about how ridiculous it is until I kind of get to something. Then, like the more practical trading stuff could be like checklists, recovery sheets, things to keep you from letting the emotions take over. So, like all the discipline stuff that we're already working on, to just keep focusing on that and not letting the emotions and the self sabotage kind of come in. So, do I suck at trading? I don't think so. But I've definitely sabotaged myself more times than I can count. The good news is that once you can see it for what it is, you have a better chance of stopping it. My therapist that I had, that I mentioned earlier, she always said, and I don't think it was this much of a percent, but she always said, "Oh, just noticing is 90%." So at least if we're paying attention to this and noticing, that's at least something, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. Yeah, so if you want to kind of look into this and work on it a bit, you can definitely grab my free Am I Sabotaging Myself resource. It's just in the shop section, but again, you don't have to pay for it. It's free. I don't know, do you ever feel like you're self-sabotaging, or do you just think that you have bad trading habits, or you just it's emotions taking over and you're going on tilt and you don't know why you keep kind of repeating these behaviors that you really desperately want to stop repeating? I don't know. And if you've found anything to help overcome self-sabotage, then definitely let me know that as well. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, leave me a like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to work on your discipline some more, then join me in my 60-day challenge. I failed it today because I took a setup that wasn't exactly one of my predefined setups that I'm supposed to be taking. So it's a process. I am working on it. And if you're working on it too, I'd love to know. All right, I will see you back here tomorrow.